Hi, I'm Eric. I found my phone and welcome to another video. Today we're getting into Preacher's Daughter by Ethel Cain. And I don't think I have heard any song from Ethel. Based on what I've heard about her, I think she's in line with Mitski and Boy Genius in the indie rock area, just because of the fact that she opened for Mitski during a tour date that I wasn't there for. But I remember seeing her on the poster. So I'm curious to see what she sounds like. I heard that this is a very conceptual album, and I was sent a 46-page Google Doc that helps outline that. So shout out to the Instagram handle @_pitifulpearl_. I will also leave a link to this Google Doc in my description in case you are interested in following along. But that is how I'm going to be following along with the story, as well as with, my own ears. I've heard it's very conceptual and it's part of a trilogy, the second of which is coming out in January of next year. So if you guys are interested in me checking that out, please let me know, like this video, show your support on this video so I know that a second one is warranted. I'm really excited to dive in, so thank you for requesting this video. And anyway, let's get into it. Track number 1 is Family Tree (intro). Ooh, I like these tones, but they're ominous. It's very muffled. I have no idea what is actually being said. She has a really gorgeous, deeper voice. He can't escape his mother's blood. Oh, the father's daughter and all that. Ooh, this is gonna sound amazing in headphones. Oh, I'm sure this would have been great at the festival. Just wanna rock out. That was a Family Tree (intro). And that was a good intro. I really grooved, rocked to it. It was a slow burn of a song for sure. And even though it was 4 minutes, it still is classified as an intro because I see that we are getting into some longer songs coming soon. But I really enjoyed that. The song kind of sets up the nature of the apple not falling far from the tree, and that you can't outrun fate, and that you can't outrun the trauma and the behaviors that you may have inherited from your parents. Talking about how Jesus can't outrun his mother's blood. Also, her father saying, "I raised you better than this," but then not helping her at all. So clearly, maybe he didn't raise her better than this. I think that will set up some conflicts regarding family. Not quite sure, of course, because I'm still in track 1 of 13. But yeah, I think it sets it up in a way that was very appealing to the ears. But gosh, I think we are in for a ride. I also knew that Ethel Cain, that's not her real name. Her real name is Hayden something. Apparently, her great-grandmother, her funeral, was where that sermon that we're hearing muffled in the background is taken from, which is a wild thing to actually put into your music. And it makes it so emotional, even though it's not necessarily you that you are representing in the music. So it's very interesting of a sample to take, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm ready to see where we go next with track number 2, American Teenager. Ooh, the distortion on that guitar, though. Oh, this feels kind of like pop rock. I feel you there in the middle of the night. Okay. I don't need anything from anyone. I just need everything and then some. I was probably wasted. Dang. Jesus, if you're there, why do I feel alone in this room? Ooh. It's just not my year. Ooh. So that was American Teenager, and what a song. Ooh, I liked sonically that song a lot, and it just had such a driving groove. It felt, I don't even really know what genre that is. It felt kind of indie rock, I guess, but it was just wonderful. It was driving. I can still hear it in my mind right now. It definitely has notes of pop in terms of just being stuck in your head a bit. And yeah, it was lovely. I mean, the song is sad as heck. I thought the song was going to be more about the dad and the trauma that he brings upon his daughter. That is not the case, it seems like, because of the fact that he passed away about 10 years ago before the events of this album are about. That is really unfortunate, and the lyrics are also really sad in terms of saying the neighbor's boy came back in a box, which means that he went off to war, and he didn't survive that war. And that's a lot, and it's also jarring to hear those types of lyrics mixed with this very driving, I don't know, a song that you can dance to that is having those types of lyrics and that type of messaging. So I think she's having trouble with finding her faith. She's like, if Jesus is there, why do I feel so alone? Because if Jesus is with you with every move you make, you should never feel alone. But yeah, she is feeling alone in that. So that was a really interesting turn of phrase that I appreciated from it. I am intrigued to see where we go next. I did read a fictional interview for the newspaper that happened in the town, so that might help me a little bit more in some of the lore. But yeah, this song I could definitely see me playing again. I like both the songs that I've heard so far. I wonder if we're going to continue in this stylistic direction or if we're going to strip it back. How is it going to go? We do have one of our longer songs coming, which is track number 3, A House in Nebraska. I'm excited to see how it turns out. Ooh. Piano/organ. The Aching Sound of Silence used to be your favorite song. Dark. Oh, is this about the guy who left? If we die tonight, then I die yours. Oh my god. Dang. That's emotion right there. I'm the reason you won't come home. Dang. What'd you do? This does feel, again, like a good headphones song. Is that static within the song itself? Interesting. Oh, that electric guitar. Oh, I'm feeling that. So that was A House in Nebraska, and that was such a slow burn of a song. I feel like we're going to get a lot of those with the nature of this album and just how it seems sonically we're going with this. This was wonderful, and I don't know how often I will listen to it because it is nearly an 8-minute song. But if your 8-minute song is good and it passes the time when I'm doing other things, then I could definitely see myself listening to it more. The song is Ethel lamenting her lost love, Willoughby, who decided to leave. I'm not sure exactly where they are, but it sounds like they are not in this town at all, and that he moved away from Shady Grove. So I do not know if we'll get that, but apparently some of the B-sides of this album focus on their relationship together and are prequel to the events of this album. If you want me to check those out at some point, I can, but for now, yeah, that was a lot of hurt. I was feeling that emotionally, and I don't think I've ever had that level of depth of love for someone ever. So I can't necessarily relate to this, but I was feeling like I was like in this moment. I was like, dang, that's rough. And it's called A House in Nebraska because they apparently had some private time together in a house in Nebraska, and that's where she calls home. Not Shady Grove, not anywhere else that she's ever been. That specific place in Nebraska, because her heart's still with that relationship even though it is over. Track number 4 is Western Nights. Oh, we saw his Harley in the parking lot. Show me how much I mean to you. Trouble's always gonna find you, but I will too. Even if you lose what's left of your mind. Oh, I like that line. Well, he's no longer with you, but I understand talking to him in heaven. The neighborhood is getting smaller. Everyone's leaving the small town. It was Western Nights, and apparently Ethel has found a new lover named Logan, who, because the town is getting more and more impoverished, has resorted to a life of crime in order to make ends meet. And she's drawn to this dark energy because she is dating him. And lyrically, I get it. Sonically, it's a little more chiller than the songs we've had so far. I do kind of like the electric guitar nature, some of the things that have more of a groove to it. This felt a little more like a Lana Del Rey moment, and I'm not the biggest fan of Lana Del Rey's music. It's okay sometimes. It has like a 50% pass rate for me, and this would be a song that for me, I get it within the concept of the album that you need this to advance the plot, but it is not necessarily a song that I necessarily want to listen to. It's not one I would probably turn to from this record so far. I think we just have a lot stronger contenders from the first 3 tracks at least. And this one, I just feel like I'm going to forget more about it just because it's just so chill. And it brings up this toxic character. And I don't really want to think about toxic people if I don't have to. So I much prefer the other songs that, even though they can be sad and everything, I think they have the sonic components and I can get into the narrative a bit better. I can relate to those characters better. I cannot relate to Ethel here in this song of being attracted to such a toxic character and falling so deeply in love with someone that is very fresh, especially after you just had that whole big breakup with Willoughby. It doesn't seem like it's something that I would personally be able to resonate with in the story. So I'm a little bit detached in this narrative right now. Track number 5 is Family Tree, but it's not the intro this time. My mama raised me better than that. Oh, what are you gonna do? Shoot first, run, and don't look back. Is that how he passed away? Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Oh, this is a good guitar solo. The bones are about to leave. Did you? That was Family Tree, not the intro. And that was, again, a slow burn. She definitely understands the assignment of a slow burn. She can make a song that's 7 minutes and make it hit. I think this one is a little on the slower side, but it's not nearly the skip that Western Nights probably will be for me. Family Tree definitely has a little more, I don't know, a little more something in it that definitely takes it a little more for me. Apparently at this point, Logan decides to rob a bank and has escalated, and in a shootout loses his life. So yeah, she's now on the run because she's scared, and I don't know if she would have had the consequences of it. I mean, it is a fictional story anyway, so she could have made it so that she did have consequences or didn't, but it has caused her to run away and then reflect on her life and also how her relationship with Logan is related to her own family life. And I don't know exactly how that is because I don't think we've gotten too deep into her family life, really, besides the fact that her dad passed away when she was little. But I really don't know how she is with her mom. Maybe we'll find out in due time. Maybe that's something you can enlighten me in the comments below. But yeah, she is running far away and meditating about what has happened in her life so far and where she's probably going to go next. I have no idea what is happening next in the story, and I'm excited to find out in track number 6, Hard Times. But I'm sure it can't be good. Was that the sound of like flies or cicadas or some bug? Maybe a little crickets in there. Tell me a story about how it ends. I thought good guys get to be happy. Ooh, that just seeped in there, didn't it? This is in 3/4. That was Hard Times, and sonically, I just kind of like let it wash over me. I just felt chill, and in a good way. I think I enjoyed the song sonically. Lyrically, oh gosh, I didn't notice it because I think I was just kind of captivated by the chill production. But I was right that there is some family trauma in there. But it's really more of her father doing things to her at such a young age that he should not do to her at any age. In order to not upset anyone, I don't want to deeply get into it, but you can look up the lyrics and make that judgment for yourself. But she is trying to kind of rectify in her head the thoughts of love that she had for her dad with the experiences that were very negative that she had towards the end of his life. And so, yeah, that's really complicated, and especially as a child, like, there's not too much you can do on that. It's a lot. That type of trauma at any age is bad and definitely can mess with your mind, but especially as a child, that's a lot. And she's had to deal with that throughout her entire time of being a teenager, of dealing with that process. It's a long process, and it's probably a process that one never fully completes in their life. But here's where we're finally getting into the meat of, hey, what is this familial relationship? Why is there so many things? It's not just that the dad passed away, it's also that there is the trauma that he inflicted upon her. Knowing that, I don't know if I can necessarily chill listening to this song again, but I did enjoy it sonically. I'll just have to figure out on my second listen whether it's a song that I can get through and derive something from in listening while not thinking too hard about the message of the song, which will trouble me deeply. Track number 7 is Thoroughfare. When you were 12 years old. Is this about ourselves? Oh, harmonica time. The pistol in your pocket. Were you assisting with the bank heist? Your truck beats walking. Oh, she's joining someone on the road? I started to see you differently, in a good or bad way. I could see a man who wasn't angry. Love's never meant much to me. I think Western Nights and the track number 3 beg to differ. House in Nebraska. Yeah, I think the House of Nebraska knows otherwise. Ooh, she kind of doing some little ad-libs there. I don't know what song this is from, but it feels like a song that I've heard from like alternative 90s music. It does also give me a little Fetch the Bolt Cutters energy. Or even like a Sheryl Crow. Oh, she gonna shout it out right now. So that was Thoroughfare, and that was a 9.5 minute song. All right then. It did not feel 9.5 minutes. It felt a little long, but for a 9.5 minute song, that's par for the course. This song is about her meeting this man while she's out on the run, and she decides to join him in his quest to go find love in the West, and they end up falling for each other. Before reading, I did actually notice that they were falling in love in the song, and so it is this new relationship. I'm cautious, knowing how her past relationships have turned out, and given what we know about the trauma she's endured as a child. But this song was enjoyable, definitely, again, with that slow burn that Ethel Cain is very clearly showing on all these songs that she can do very well. Very well. A+, A+, A+. I really like the outro a lot. I wish that 2-minute song was just like a little interlude so I could play that part, because that was just good vibes all around, and it felt like it was a completely different song. I was just like vibing and not thinking about all the sad, traumatic events that have happened in this character's life. Now she's all the way in California, and she's originally from Alabama, and so they've gone really far, and especially, I believe this takes place in the 90s, so it's before you have the cell phones and everything where you could just easily communicate with people. I think she's gone missing a little bit, so I am optimistic that this love will turn out well, but I think I have to be a bit cautious knowing that we still have half an album. I don't think it'll just be a love story. Do you? Well, let's find out with track number 8, Gibson Girl. Filtering on the voice. And hurt her? No! Oh, that break in the instrumentation. I was not expecting this filtering. Oh, syncopation too. If it feels good, then it can't be bad. I don't trust you, man. Oh. If you hate me, please don't tell me. Oh no. So that was Gibson Girl, and oh, God. Okay, so I was right. Isaiah, the man that she met in Thoroughfare, is a POS, and she both fall victim to substance abuse, and he also then, because, again, money is tight, he coerces her to do work at a gentleman's club. I'm not going to get too deep into it because I don't want YouTube to censor me on that, but when it is consensual, I am all for that work. But if it is not consensual, if it's coerced, then ew, that's awful. And I'm so sorry to anyone who has endured that at a non-consensual level. It is a really rough message in the song. Sonically, I love the song. I love the filtering on it. I think it's really cool when an artist, where you can tell where their main strength is, can try to adopt and change their genre a little bit. This had more of an electronic. This is a little more trippy in terms of its sound, and I think that probably has to do with a bit of that she's not thinking as clearly because she's on substances a lot. I really appreciate Hayden going for it on this track in terms of changing the genre a little bit, adapting elements from other genres that she might not feel as suited for. But this song lyrically, oh gosh, it's a lot, and it's dark, and it's also a bit of a sensitive topic for me to listen to. And so I don't know if I will be able to. We will see. That is probably going to be the case for a lot of the songs on this record, because if I start feeling it a little deeply, it might be a little too much for me to feel, if you understand what I mean. So I do appreciate the sonic choices that were made in the song, and lyrically she definitely just goes for it. So I definitely can applaud the gumption and the conviction with which she's delivering this, but it is a little bit hard to cope with. Track number 9 is Ptolemaea. Sounds like a distorted moo. Oh, that is deep. Love you. Doesn't feel like love. It also sounds like that swarm of bugs again. I love how soft her vocals are. It can't be understood by me, though. Oh, bring it in. She's saying stop over and over. Oh. Oh, her shrieking that. Oh, I felt that. Ending kind of reminds me of I Know the End from Phoebe. So that was Ptolemaea, and that apparently is the name of one of 4 concentric circles in hell, as shown in Dante's Inferno, which is for those who have betrayed their guest. And Ethel was the guest of Isaiah here, and Isaiah has betrayed her. While she's hallucinating, she realizes that he's severely disturbed, and he commits an act of violence upon her. I do not know what the nature of that violence is. I don't want to think about it personally. That is what the document just says, act of violence. And I'm going to allow that to just be all I know. Frankly, because of all the stops and the, it's a lot. This album is a lot. And wow, I know oftentimes I have to not send all the albums that I listen to my friends, because I know that some of them might have some sensitivities to it. This one I'm feeling sensitive to. So, yeah, this is a lot. The demon voice, a choice, and I definitely applaud her for making a song that, again, is a little more experimental. It doesn't seem like it goes in the original sound, but wow. I hope she's able to get away somehow. And given the fact that we do have, in theory, 2 more albums in store and the rest of this album, I assume that we will probably get her to be out of here, but I can't tell you for sure. So yeah, that was an intense song. I do not know how this one has so many streams compared to some of the other songs in this album. I don't know how you listen to that regularly, but Good for you. Yeah, this one is a lot. I will have to see if I feel like it's that much on another day as well. Track number 10 is August Underground. Okay, this is starting at least a little more chill. Okay, we're setting the moody, ominous tones. I'm not sure that's a good thing. Oh, intensity. I could see this in one of those fantasy like battle sequences, like in a TV show or a movie, not in a video game. That was August Underground, and well, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Yeah, because this song is an instrumental, and I do not know how we know that this is the moment where it happens, because it is fully an instrumental. But yeah, he ends her life at an abandoned house. Ugh, dang. Okay, I understand why this song doesn't have that many streams. Gosh, I thought this was a moody song that I could see in, other areas, but now I'm going to only see it in the context of this album because, wow, I didn't expect our main character to have her life ended like that. I thought there's two more. Maybe the follow-up albums are not Ethel, but they're different daughters of Cain. Obviously, different parents, because I think Ethel here is an only child of the preacher's daughter. So, yeah. We still have 3 songs to go with the main character gone. Interesting. I guess we shall see how that goes. This song, instrumentally, sonically, very well done. Lyrically, there's nothing here. I still don't understand. Maybe you just had to interpret it as such of her having her life ended, but I don't know how you get that out of a full instrumental. So, and maybe Hayden's done interviews about that, but gosh, I did not know this album was going to be this whole direction. Track number 11 is Televangelism. Ooh, a piano moment. That timbre of the piano is gorgeous. And they definitely are keeping that sag in there for that raw indie touch. Ooh, are you going to minor? Or doing some accidentals? So that was Televangelism, another instrumental, but this one makes sense, I guess, once you know the context, that this piano that feels almost church-like, organ-like, it's probably played on an organ, probably, actually, but this song is referencing her body ascending and going into the afterlife. I don't know if it's heaven or hell or what it is. I would assume, just because of how much she is a victim throughout her entire life, it seems like, that she would end up in heaven. But I don't know if in this universe the Christian God is a fair person, a just person, or if it's about like, oh, well, you had a bunch of premarital relations. That's not cool. I do wonder how strict of a God he is in this universe. I assume God is a he in this universe because that would make sense given how regularly Christian it feels like. This was a beautiful song, and I think because it is not about the act of her passing away, but just the aftermath of it, the ascension and all that, I feel like I could listen to this out of the context of it and not feel too distracted by it. I feel like it's just a nice little piano moment that's really gorgeous. August Underground, I liked it moodier, but that's a little bit of a hard thing to detach from. This one I feel like is easier to detach. Apparently it is Hayden's favorite from the album, so that's cool. I assume we're either going to get stuff about Ethel in the afterlife, or we're going to get stuff about how people who are still living are dealing with her. But since the songs are still from Ethel Cain, I assume it's probably the former, but I guess time will only tell. With that, track number 12, Sun Bleached Flies. You want to listen to the choir all heartfelt, but you can't be in church. Baby girl, good luck taking care of yourself. If they strike once, you just hit them twice as hard. I think it's about time I put up a fight. Okay. No one was coming to save me. Oh, she had to fight for herself. If it's meant to be, then it will be. I'm interested to see how that plays into it. She belongs to the house in Nebraska. Willoughby. That was some Bleached Flies, and this is about her looking back on her life and making peace with her passing, looking at how things were and how things could have gone differently, but ultimately accepting that it was how she was raised, but also that when you are stuck in a pattern of behavior and things that is all you know, it is very hard to break out of that and find a new path that isn't at least somewhat informed by your past and often colored in your past. It's another slow burn song where she also references a Willoughby at the end. Think about the house in Nebraska and she's dancing with the windows open. I don't know, as a ghost, a spirit, or just like figuratively she's wants to be there. Obviously she can't be in church. She can't be where she wants to be. And it is hard. I do not know how Strangers is going to be. I don't know if we are getting a reincarnation of her or if we are going on to a different character. I don't know how this trilogy pans out, but I am curious to know. I guess maybe we'll get a little bit of a hint on this final track, which is track number 13, Strangers. Okay, it is a little more chilled. Don't talk to strangers, you might fall in love, or you might have what Ethel happened to her. Am I no good? Can I be yours? Tell me I'm yours. Oh, she is really begging. Okay, yes, she's slow burning us again. Am I making you feel sick? Is she talking to Isaiah? So that was Strangers. I don't even want to talk about how it ends. Because apparently, he keeps her in a freezer. Yep, after the incident. And let's just say that he's hungry later. What? That, and also things I'm not going to talk about. Very bad when she's alive. Feels also very bad when she's not alive. Became very mentally ill. And I believe the police end up finding him, but I don't think that's said in the song at all. But she is kind of reflecting on that happening while her spirit has ascended. And she goes to visit her mother, who is, of course, worried sick about her daughter. And then she finally ascends into heaven. I don't know, again, if we're going to get it from the heavenly perspective or if the chapter is closed. It feels to me like the chapter is closed. I don't know what else you're going to get. I feel like there would be too much speculation on what happens in the afterlife for her to be doing this. But gosh, that's a last moment. And this is the second highest stream song on this album. The song where he's eating part of her. A lot of thoughts in there, and yet none at all. This one definitely took me emotionally back, not just because of now what I know of the song, but I think also sonically it did have the slow burn. Again, she knows how to do a slow burn. She's a master at it. She could do a master class on it. She really could teach anyone how to do a slow burn. It is very much well within her wheelhouse to do so. And it also was hitting me hard. And just the lyrics that I was understanding, which was more about the missing her mother and that she sees her face in the dairy aisle at the Winn-Dixie. Oh, poor thing. I do feel for her mother. I don't know to what extent she was knowledgeable about what her father was doing with Ethel, but that is terrible. And it is heart-wrenching. And so that is a very sad song. And knowing the whole context of it in the story, gosh, that's a lot. With that said, we have finished this album, and that was an experience. Like, I need to decompress after that. I don't think I have had an album in quite a while where I really needed to fully just decompress and dissociate for a little bit afterwards, because that was a lot to take in with you all. It is just a lot, and I do not know to what extent I'm going to be able to listen to this album routinely, listen to the songs on it regularly, especially knowing so much of the plot of it. That's not to say that this is not a good album. This is a very well done album. I have no notes regarding sonics in terms of any bad sonics, things that she should have changed. No, not at all. I think she did a very great job with that. I think lyrically she is telling the story in the way that it makes sense to tell, being explicit in some aspects and some of it leaving it to lore and interviews and stuff like that to give you the blanks to fill in rather than telling you outright in the song, because then you might not be able to listen to it if you are hearing it actively happen in the song, and it's very clear. I did finish the Google Doc. I really appreciate, again, the commenter who sent it to me, as well as the person who made the Google Doc. Again, check that in the description if you are interested in getting some of this knowledge. A lot of the external links on it do seem to be broken. I think it's because the Tumblr page where they were coming from has fully cleaned everything. That might be Hayden's actual Tumblr page. So it might mean because of the preparation for the new era that we're having that rebranding the preparation for the next era. But yeah, there is a lot still on that document that I could only cover to some extent without talking about everything, because it's a lot. But I hope you all go through it and find something of value to you. Finishing the doc, though, I do understand the context of it is that there are going to be 3 generations of women of the Cain family, and this starts with the youngest, because obviously she didn't have a daughter. We didn't hear of any daughter. She was the only daughter, and that wouldn't make sense to continue. So I assume we're going a generation up, or maybe 2 generations up. There's 3 different generations of women in the Cain family that will be discussed here, and we're starting with hopefully the most gruesome one. I would like to not think that it gets harder to digest from here, but maybe I won't react to it immediately on release, and you guys can tell me if it's something that you think is handleable, because this was a lot. I, again, don't know how much I will be able to go through it regularly. It's a lot. It just simply is a lot. I don't have much else to say on it, but she did a great job, and I'm really appreciative that someone is putting their ideas of stories into music. I believe this probably was the best way to do it. You could have written a book with this material. You could have done a musical play, not a musical in the show tuning way, but a play that has music in it. You could have done a movie. You could have done so many things that are related to it, and I think the music was a good plan for that, and I think it makes a lot of sense for how she did it. And I feel like we get a lot of artists these days that say, oh, it's a concept album, and then it's just songs about being in love, or, you know, it's songs that are loosely around a theme. That is a concept album, or can be a concept album. This is a concept album. This is, I came up with a concept that could be related to me in some way, but I have created a whole world, a whole cinematic universe, if you will, and I am putting that to you. That is what a concept album really is. And while it's probably not going to be the concept album that I go to often, it'll probably be one of my go-to albums where I say, this is what a concept album is. So I really applaud her for really giving it her all in music, not holding anything back. It means that it might be harder for me to digest and add it to a regular rotation of music, but I don't think that's what this album is made for. So I'm okay with that, and I think she's okay with that too. Due to the nature and the subject matter of this album, I can't do my normal top tier other songs I like. I think that's a little too lighthearted and a little too playful. So I'm just going to put the track list here and say whether it's a song I see myself regularly returning to, or if it's a song that just didn't captivate me, or a song that because of its messaging, I can't listen to regularly. It's a Y for yes, it's a song I'm returning to. An N for no, I don't really care for it, I'm not gonna return to it. And an S for sorry, it's too much for me to listen to, but otherwise I would listen to it. So that is the legend. That is what we are going with for this video because I think it warrants it. If you like this video, please like it, comment down below what you'd like me to react to or do next on my channel. Please subscribe and show if you're not already and you'd like to be. And thanks for watching. This is TurtleStormer. Catch you later.